up, everybody? It's your boy Mo3. Today, replacing the Radiator 98 Chevy pickup. Oh, we're also going to be replacing these radiator hoses right here. If you remember the last video, we found a coolant leak in this guy, and we're going to do a whole bunch of other stuff too while we're already here. Got a bunch of tools here because, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff to go over. You're going to see why we need an extra quart of motor oil. We also have a quart of transmission fluid. Got some PV blaster, some silicone spray, some pipe sealant or pipe joint compound. We'll see where that comes into play later. Also got a pair of drain pans. Just thought I'd point that out. Over the past day or so, what I've been doing is coming in with PV blaster because this is like fucking awesome. On this truck, it's got like 4 of these cooler lines on it. I've been spraying the fuck out of them, so hopefully they come off because, as you guys may know, this thing's got like fucking 160,000 miles on it, so a lot of this stuff has never been touched before. So, first order of business here, go ahead and get this shroud off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this guy out. Oh. So we can set him there, get him out of the way. We've got a series of 10mm fasteners. And we've got some way down here. This connects the upper part of the shroud to the lower part. There's one right here behind this hose. And there's 2 on this other side. The camera's been acting a fool lately. When I went to order this radiator from AutoZone, they had a whole bunch of different options for this truck because they made so many different, I don't know, versions of it, I guess. One of the things was the radiator depth, and really what they were looking for was this right here. And it had 2 choices. It had a choice of like 1 inch or 1.2 inches or something. So all I really did was I put a tape measure on here. It was over 1 inch. I don't know what 0.2 is as far as, you know, standard inches, but I knew it was bigger than 1 inch, so I got the one that was bigger than 1 inch. Another option they had was if it had oil cooler or not. So just about every modern vehicle has transmission cooler lines that run up to the radiator. And what I saw on this truck was I've got cooler lines on this side and I've got cooler lines on this side. So safe to say that it has engine oil cooler too. That's the reason why we got the extra quart of oil and transmission fluid, so we can top them off when this guy's done. The lower radiator here is like buried way down in there. Probably can't even see it from there. So I think just to have a little bit more room, go ahead and bang this off of here. Well, we're underneath the pickup right now. I'm probably not going to show this whole process because we'll have to squeeze underneath here. But I've got one of the shroud hold down bolts right here next to those cooler lines. And then we've got the other one, and he's tucked up right here. I'm going to bang those puppies off. That way we could hopefully get this lower shroud off. It'll give us access back here by the lower rad hose, and we'll go from there. Alright, so got those 2 little fasteners out down there. I don't know if this thing will even come out of here. I'll go ahead and give it a try. I mean, if it doesn't come all the way out, I'm not really sweating. What I do have now is I have access to this lower line right here, if you guys can see that. And I also have access to this lower hose connection right here. And so I'm not wrestling with this motherfucker. Just take a bungee here. And, that's probably good enough. No biggie. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this upper hose off. Now, this hose is cold, squishy. Truck sat overnight, so taking this off isn't going to be a problem. Now, this guy right here, these kind of clamps. Now, I talked about it before in my cooling system tools videos, how they suck. There's numerous different ways you can do it. You can try to use like your little slip joint pliers, kind of grab it, kind of walk it off, but you saw right there, the things pop off. You know what I mean? Some people will even take their vice grips, kind of smash them together, and then kind of walk it off. Some people take channel locks, kind of smash it and then kind of walk it off. For me, I prefer the tool that was made to do these. It's got a little bucket on one side and a little groove section on the other. And the way that would work would be this little tabby goes in the bucket. So, I mean, you really can, you know what I'm saying, walk it off. It doesn't slip off or none of that shit. So while some people may not agree with using these, I don't give a fuck what they do. They work very, very well for me. You know what I'm saying? And we've got another one way up here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but it's just the same deal. So take a big pick tool and go around here. Looks like we're going to lose a little bit of juice, so I'm going to take my big bucket, go right there. I'm going to take my pick again and go up underneath this hose right here. So there's our upper hose. And you can see way down here, there's a little valve that you can like turn and drain all the fluid from the radiator. But those things are a pain in the dick to work with. It's easier for me just to pop off the lower hose and drain it out that way. I'm going to switch my buckets here. So I've got coolant in one and oil in the other. Got Mr. 13/16. Go ahead and loosen up these cooler lines. This is where PB Blaster really paid off, I guess. Because I have no problem getting him off. Same thing down here. Same thing, I'll just tuck him up out of the way. I've got a 10mm fastener right here. And bang him off. This is just a little mount. On this side right here, it's like a 5/8 or a 16mm. Again, thanks to good old PB Blaster. Getting this thing off wasn't a big deal. Sometimes these things get so freaking corroded that when you go to spin this off, this actually breaks inside, and you're kind of like in a world of fuck. That's why you know, sometimes just taking extra time to use the blaster really pays off. I've never really needed to use like a flare wrench on these. Usually just a regular, you know what I'm saying, like a 9/16 or a 16mm, just regular wrench does the job very well. You could probably also take this guy off of here. This is another upper radiator mount, 10mm, no problemo. Got this little return line. Just pop him off of here. Now he goes all the way up to the coolant reservoir up there. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Dun, 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 dun. The most fucked up part of this job is getting that lower radiator clamp off of here. It's way down there. I don't know if you can see it.
Probably not.
And because of some brilliant fucking engineering, the clamp is like oriented, if you're looking down at it, it's almost at like 9 o'clock. So here, So your tabs are really around and kind of retarded. I'm trying to rotate it as best as I can. This is a tool that can save your fucking ass someday. What I have here is a large tab, and a large tab. And when you squeeze this, you squeeze together. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hook this edge up to the long flat part. And then as I squeeze it, it tightens up and I can rotate that thing around. To be honest with you, I really should have put that in the coolant system tools video when I was talking about these things for getting these fucking clamps off of here, because there are some cases where they're a necessity. Maybe not so much for the Chevy trucks that we do here, but for other vehicles, fuck yeah. Now, before anybody bitches it, I'm not buying a $100 fucking set of fucking, you know, clamp removers. I'm sure with a lot of patience, you can just take the time to slowly work that clamp all the way around. I don't have that kind of patience, that's why I bought the tool. So, when I pull this hose off of here, down here, it's going to dump all the guts, all the juice out of the radiator. So I've got my pan perfectly positioned. I'm going to take my little fucking senior pick. And see, instead of like creating a big fucking gusher explosion, I kind of have a controlled stream that can just slowly drain that out without fucking just everywhere. Like I know some people that would keep that lower shroud hooked up and they would cut their arms all up trying to get that lower hose clamp off, and you know, and it would just be cussing and acting like a fucking douche and you know, big fucking crybaby bitches, you know what I'm saying? You just take a couple extra minutes, get this thing out of the way, you can get down there and you can work more easy, you know what I mean? Some fucking people. Alright, so our little dick trickle has now come down to a halt. So, I'm going to go ahead and keep working this hose off of here using senior pick. He is off. Now, we might still lose a little bit of juice, you know, like if we killed it or something, but she's ready to come out. So, grab it here, grab it here.
Right there.
A little bit to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Ba-boom. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this shroud out of the way, because this is kind of like going to be a bitch. I'm doing the lower radiator hose too because I'm already here. And this is going to be really tough to see. You're going to have to follow my hand and look through like these two blades right here. Yeah, you see my finger, my thumb right there? And that's the end of a hose clamp. It had one of those like spring-loaded clamps like we've taken off the other connections. When I replaced the water pump on this truck, I took off the OEM spring clamp and replaced it with one of these. So if your shit's all original, it might still have that, you know, spring-loaded clamp on there. It'd be a motherfucker to take off, you know, as is. I'm going to put my pan under that. I guess I have to loosen that. I have to loosen this clamp up a little bit more. So kind of clear this hump right here. Alright, you. I've had enough of your shit, crick cops. fire in the hole. It didn't lose anything.